This is Steve from Boxing UK. Delighted to be joined by Sheffield's finest, Dominic Ingle. How are you?
One of Sheffield's finest. We've got a few fine ones in Sheffield. One of them being Dennis Hobson. He's put on this great promotion tonight. I've drove past it a few times. I've seen the setup and what a great idea. He's got the Fight Zone app, and you know, he's look, over the last 12 to 18 months, all these small Hulk shows, so to speak, have disappeared, and Dennis is bringing them back. You know, guys who've had no chance to fight, the ticket sellers, they're back on there, and he's running a show more or less every week and giving these fighters who've been sat around for 12 months, been twiddling their thumbs, he's giving them an opportunity to get out and box. And it's, you know, it's a bit of a lifeline for the smaller gyms around the country. Or, you know, we've got fights from Birmingham, you know, all over the country coming tonight to fight, Scotland even, and Dennis has given them the opportunity, so it's a great situation. So, you know, we've got a few fine ones. We've got John Fuchs making his comeback. We've got Glyn Rhodes back down here. So we've got a few of Sheffield's finest tonight. It's been great.
Yeah, we had a few in this very tent, didn't we? I've seen Kel and Barry here supporting Bradley.
Yeah, we've had Kel down, I mean, and Barry, and obviously they've trained alongside Brad, and there was a bit of a buzz when Brad came to the gym because obviously he's got that kind of style, the hits and move style, you know, very much like the orthodox, for me, the orthodox version of Billy Joe Saunders, that he comes from the hit and not get hit school of boxing, which I love that kind of style, to train fighters like that. And tonight, you know, Brad's put on a great performance. The kid was nothing sparkling, but after 2.5 years out, you know, it's a case of, you know, seeing what Brad's got left. Has he still got the reaction time? Because he works on reaction. Has he still got the moves and the ambition? And he has. So it's been a good night for Brad.
Have you seen enough in the gym before tonight, Dominic, that this is the right thing for Bradley to do?
As what, sorry?
Is this the right thing for Bradley to do? Have you seen enough?
Yeah, I've seen. Look, the hardest thing is not really the fight. As fighters will tell you, the fight is not the hard part. The hard part in boxing is the camp, the training, the monotony, the grind, the repetition, doing the same thing day in, day out. And it's like Groundhog Day. But what they say is, my dad used to say, repetition is the art of learning. The more you do it, the more you get used to it, the easier it becomes automatic. And I remember, you know, speaking to Brad a few years back, and he met my dad Brendan and Amir down at the Boxing Writers when he was flying high and everything was going well for him, and he said, I might come up to your gym, but nobody ever does because you're doing well. Why would you move? You know, he was doing great, and then when things go wrong, that's when you get these type of kids coming to you, because you have to try and bring them back, and some you can do it and some you can't. And hopefully with Brad, you know, I don't think he fulfilled his ambition. He was probably walking around for 2 years being a personal trainer. He was probably making decent money, but thinking, you know, looking at guys on TV and thinking, I could have beat them, I could have beat him, and he can. But you've really got to take yourself away from your comfort zone in boxing. It's a hard sport. It's a lonely sport. There's a lot of pretenders out there, but Brad's not a pretender. He can fight. He's been right up there, and I think at the end when he was getting beat, he just lost ambition and focus really, and motivation. And I hope coming to Sheffield he's found that.
We spoke to Brad straight after the fight there and asked him what his ambitions are, and he said he would still harbour the hopes of becoming world champion.
Look, it's, you know, everybody sets out, you know, you've got to aim for the stars. You've got to aim for the stars. You might get to the stars, you might get above the clouds, you might get above the trees. You've got to have belief in yourself, and it's not beyond him to become a world champion. It's very difficult in this day and age, you know, at 30 odd years old to do that. It does happen, and it's a long road, but you know, he can become British, he can become European. The chance might present itself, but we'll only see over time. I would say it would be a lot easier 5 years ago, and we've got to be realistic. And when we're training him, we'll be realistic when we train him, when we match him with, you know, with spars with, and we'll just see what his progression is.
Can I ask you away from Bradley? Just life in the gym, Dominic. Any news? Anything happening?
Yeah, it's like I said, there's you know, we've all trained. We've had a few fights. We had Liam Withams in Miami a few weeks back. Now we've had Brad out. We've got Galahad fighting Dazn. That's coming up in August. We're just waiting for that date to be announced, and that's about it really. We're just waiting for that fight, and then hopefully, you know, there's obviously been a big announcement with Eddie Hearn leaving Sky. Things are going to turn around on Sky with different things, different promoters, different fighters. Eddie's gone to Dazn. So there's a bit of a shake-up there. So, you know, other things will be happening. We've got other people in the gym coming through. So hopefully when the autumn kicks in and the proper boxing season kicks in, and maybe, you know, crowds are allowed back indoors, boxing will pick back up and get moving again. But for now, you know, we've got Bradley out of the way. We've got him where he needs to be. It's been a long slog, and like I say, he didn't show 1 ounce of ring rust. All the old moves are there, the timing, the sparkle in his eye. Our next fight is Galahad, and then get to September and see where we are then.
Brilliant. Two more, Dom. Can I ask you what your thoughts are on the big Dazn news yesterday?
Look, it's
for boxing in general rather than yourself.
Look, Eddie has done, you know, wonderful things for boxing. He's been with Sky 10, 11 years. I can remember when he first came on board with his first few fighters, Carl Froch, Kell Brook, and Darren. Slipped my mind there, but won't tell me.
Barker.
Darren Barker. I think Darren Barker was his first one. So, you know, from where he started to where he's finished, it's a natural progression to do what he's done. And I just don't think probably Sky moved along as fast as he did. You know, he's very forward thinking at it and thinks outside the box. That's why he's been successful in boxing. He brought some great fights to Sky, he built Sky up, and now they're almost probably going to have to start again, but he will give other people chances. Where he's monopolised it for 10 years, he will give other people chances. All these people think they can do that job. Well, here's your chance now. There's a fresh board for you. You go out and do the job that Eddie Hearn's done, because Eddie Hearn's moved on, and he's took those fighters to his own, which is great. It leaves another space for other fighters to come through. And like I said today, we've got Dennis doing this in Sheffield. Great. You know, he's got his app moving. He's got his fights. He does a bit of TV stuff. So the more boxing there is, the more outlets for boxing, the better it is for the sport. It doesn't matter who's on top of the pile. We've got Frank Warren on BT Sports doing really well. It's just creating more avenues and more outlets for boxing to be shown. So it's all good at the minute. And I think it's a good thing that what Eddie's done. He's run Dazn alongside Sky, and now he's made his mind up and jumped ship and done his own thing.
Well said. Speaking of good for boxing, last one, it's Floyd Mayweather against, I think it's Logan Paul this weekend. There's a proper boxing man, Dominic, steeped in the business. What do you make about all?
Look, it's people slag them fights off, and let's get this right. Boxing is an entertainment sport, and if you can put bums on seats, then that's all you need to do. It's not being the best boxer in the world and you can't fill the front row or the ringside seats. So it's an exhibition fight. I was at the KSA fight, Logan Paul, if it wasn't Logan Paul who boxed him. It was a tremendous fight. It was a different crowd. The arena was packed. There was YouTubers, there was young fans, there was old fans. There was a very broad mixture. And some of them will cross over into boxing. And it generated a lot of interest, a lot of talk, a lot of money, and it kept boxing at the forefront. So, you know, it's entertainment. So I say it's good. I don't care what these purists are saying, oh, it's bad for boxing, and you know, it's taking money away from the fighters who are trying to make an honest living. Well, you know, you've got to make yourself somebody in boxing. You've got to be a somebody. You've got to be a name. You've got to be Nigel Benn or a Chris Eubank or a Nazim Ahmed. You've got to have a bit of flair, a bit of flamboyancy. It's no good just keeping your mouth shut and, you know, showcasing your boxing and you've got no character or crack about it, because people don't attach to that. You've got to have personality in boxing, and there's some great fighters out there, but they've got personalities of a lump of wood. So, you know, it don't count, does it? So for me, if they're getting the views, they're getting the pay-per-views, they're filling the arenas, then it's all good for boxing.
Dominic Ingle, I really appreciate your time. I'll let you go and enjoy your leg day tomorrow, I heard.
No, yeah, well, I'll try not to. Too much.
Lovely. Dominic Ingle, thanks for your time.
No worries.